So that's a picture of retirees having fun. And we have lots of retirees throughout the region. The benefit paying agencies that we represent are the Veterans Affairs. So if you have inquiries regarding Veterans Affairs, you would contact us. Office of Personnel Management, Railroad Board, Medicare, and the Department of Labor. Those are the 6 benefit paying agencies that we represent at Post. And by Post we mean a U.S. embassy or consulate. If you have questions regarding those types of benefits, that's where you would go and visit and ask questions about the benefits that we pay. The Regional Federal Benefit Unit. So we have 3 regional offices, or offices that support the region. They're located in Dominican Republic, San Jose, Costa Rica, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. And this is how we're made up. We're made up of a regional officer, which is myself, and I've been with the Social Security Administration for 17 years. So my expertise, although we represent 6 other agencies, or 5 other agencies, is mostly Social Security. I've been overseas since last June. This is my first overseas assignment. And I cover a region made up of about 44 countries with 60,000 beneficiaries, supported by 3 claims-taking offices. And what that means is that those 3 offices, Santo Domingo, Buenos Aires, and San Jose, are connected to the Social Security system, to the computer system. So they're able to see and answer questions that you have regarding Social Security. The other agencies we represent, we liaison with them. So that means that I can't see what's on OPM's computer system, but I have a person that I can call in OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, and ask them on your behalf whatever question you have. And the same thing for the other benefit-paying agencies. Our headquarters are located in Baltimore, Maryland. We have about 300 employees there that support the entire overseas operation. And next slide, please. And this is what we look like around the world. There are 690,000 beneficiaries outside of the United States. They live in about 198 countries. They represent about $4 billion, US dollars. And they are supported by 21 field offices, claims-taking Post. So now let's scale that down so that you can see how it fits you guys. In Jamaica, our beneficiary population is about 3,000. That amount of benefit paid is a little bit lower than actual. Actually, this year it came up to $1.8 million. And you are supported by 1 claims-taking post, which is the post in Santo Domingo. And we're trying to change that a little bit and give you guys more support, particularly using the employees that we have in San Jose, and that's why we have one here with us today, Rebeca Soto, and the employees that we have in Argentina. Not only are we getting support from throughout the region, but you also, if you're applying for benefits for the first time, you may even get a phone call from our colleagues in Baltimore, Maryland, because they're providing us support as well. You see, we can't handle 60,000 beneficiaries, in addition to all the people that are retiring, with 10 employees throughout the region. So we have called in the cavalry. So we have assistance coming in from our colleagues in Baltimore helping us with claims taking our initial applications. And you know, some interesting statistics that we were discussing today is just the number of beneficiaries, people who are becoming of age and applying for Social Security benefits. We estimate that it's about 10,000 people per day that become Social Security eligible. As of 2008, we expect 80 million baby boomers to come and apply for benefits. And like I like to say, they're not just staying home. They're coming to where their dollar stretches a little bit further. So they're coming into the region because we're close. I mean, you can take a commercial flight and be in Miami in no time from here. So folks are not just staying back home, and that's why we are here to provide you guys services and support. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about the services that you can find through the U.S. Consulate or the embassy here in Kingston. Next slide, please. We collect your social security number card application. So if you need a number, you would come in either Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 11. They'll take your application for social security number. Collect and certify and submit documents to the Regional Federal Benefit Unit. So what happens is you need to communicate with us. We've spoken to you. We need something from you in order to either process your claim or update your record. You can come here and drop it off, and the nice folks in ACS will certify it, copy it, certify it, and email it to us so that we can then take action on it. They can provide you necessary information to potential applicants, so you're not sure if you're eligible for Social Security. Well, they're not connected to our computer systems here, so they won't be able to answer your question right away. But they can take your information, send it to us, and we'll be able to determine if you are eligible and then go about helping you apply for benefits. They ensure beneficiaries receive payments. They disseminate paper checks, provide assistance with completing forms, schedule SSA and VA medical examinations. They conduct field visits, because sometimes it's hard for our customers to come here and conduct some of their SSA business that they have to do. So we actually ask ACS to help us and do field visits so that we can get the necessary information that we need to conduct our program integrity work. They refer beneficiary inquiries to the Regional Federal Benefit Unit. So you have a question that they can't answer because they're not connected to the SSA computer systems. So they have to rely on us to give them a response. So they'll send that inquiry to us. And I'll show you how we collaborate. So I like to say we start here in Embassy, Kingston. And you come in, you ask your question. Again, they're not connected to the system, to the Social Security system, so they have to then send that inquiry to the Regional Federal Benefit Unit. And they send it to us in an email format. In the past, it took a lot longer because they had to send it through mail. And sometimes that mail had to go up to the US and then back down to us in the Dominican Republic. Now, because of email technology, we can move it just a little bit quicker through the pipelines. And then what we do with the information that we get is we check our records. We make sure that if it's an action that we can process, that we'll take the action. Now, sometimes the law prohibits us from doing certain things overseas, and we have to send it back to the US, to our counterparts in Baltimore, because that's where the action can take place, to either reinstate your benefits or adjudicate your claim if you're applying for the first time. Those things have to be done in the US. It's just the way the law requires it. And if that is the case, in an initial claim situation, it could take up to 6 months for claims to get processed. And that's just the way it works. We've seen a lot of them being done a lot quicker. But sometimes it could take a little bit longer. If it's a disability claim that you're filing, it could take up to 9 months and even longer. And it's just because there's medical reviews, there's examinations that have to be done. You guys are lucky, you're an English-speaking country, but if it's a foreign language, we have to send it to translation. So all those things add to the amount of time to make a disability determination. If it's post-entitlement, and by post-entitlement we mean you're a current beneficiary and you have something that has to change. Your address has to change, and for some reason when we went in and did it, it did not work for us, so now we need to ask for help from Baltimore. Or you want to cancel your Medicare because you've decided you're living here and I don't need my Medicare benefits right now. Why do I want to pay $104? So you want to cancel Medicare. So that's another thing that we send back to the US when we are unable to do it ourselves because maybe of some system limitation. That can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And sometimes what will happen is if it's a non-receipt of your benefit checks. Sometimes if it's something that we have to do and we can't get that action to process, then again we have to ask for help from Baltimore. Representative payee applications is something that we cannot adjudicate overseas, that we have to ask for assistance from Baltimore. And again, that falls into that pipeline of 4 to 6 weeks before the action actually is completed. And then it could be another 4, depending on how you get your checks or your benefits, it could be another 4 to 6 weeks before you actually have the payment in hand. So when the inquiries come through this funnel here, what happens is we determine what action needs to be taken, and we'll contact you. We'll let you know, okay, so this is the situation, this is what's happening, this is what we're going to do, this is the action we're going to take to complete it. And that's how we collaborate with the folks here in ACS. So let's talk about what's not available through the U.S. Consulate. So provide immediate responses to benefit inquiries. So you come in, I didn't receive my payment. That's the only information that the person you're dealing with in ACS Kingston is going to be able to know, because they don't have access to the system. So the information that you provide is what they have. They have to actually send that to us in the Regional Federal Benefit Unit to figure out what is happening with the case. Why did you not receive your benefit? Did you receive your benefit, but maybe it got caught up somewhere in the bank, or was it returned? So that's only us in one of those 3 places, Santo Domingo, San Jose, or Buenos Aires, Argentina, can answer that question. The rest of the countries, they don't have access, they're not connected to the Social Security system. Status on a Social Security number card application. They collect the information and send it to us, but after we process it, they can't see what happens to that application. Was a card issue? Is it in the mail? What's the number? You can provide your inquiry here, but they won't be able to give you an immediate response to that. They'll have to collect your name, telephone number, identifying information, and then we'll contact you and let you know. Status of the benefit application. So I've already sort of laid the groundwork as to how long a benefit application takes. If you applied yesterday, your application is not going to be processed by today. It's going to take some time. We may have more additional questions to ask you as well. So we may need to contact you. So if you apply for benefits, just don't put the phone away or shut down your email account, because we'll be coming to look for you and ask you for additional, if we need additional information, we'll contact you. We'll also send you a letter once your application is complete. It's called an award letter. We're going to tell you when your benefits are going to start and how much they're going to be, and when you can expect it, either in a mail format or if you need to sign up for direct deposit, if you've already chosen direct deposit, when it's going to be in your account. Complete changes immediately. So I moved to Jamaica today, and I come and visit ACS and I let them know that I moved here. That address may take a while to update. It's not going to update right away, because again, it has to go through the proper channels. Effectuate payments. Again, like I explained, the whole concept of the non-receipt. You didn't get your check, that's all, they only know that part. And it may take extra effort on our part, as well as our counterparts in Baltimore, to process the change on your record to effectuate your payments. So again, these actions that are described here are done by the Regional Federal Benefit Unit, or sometimes may require assistance from Baltimore. And if it requires assistance from Baltimore, it could take 4 to 6 weeks, and maybe longer before you have a check or payment in hand. So now, how do we communicate? How do you guys communicate with the Regional Federal Benefit Unit? And sir, you had mentioned about calling the Dominican Republic and that message being in Spanish, and that is correct. They support Dominican Republic. There are 10,000 beneficiaries there. They support the rest of the Caribbean islands as well. So, but there's only 4 of them. So that does make it challenging to deliver service. So what we came up with is the ability to communicate with us via email, because that way, if we get your email and we see that this is going to require some help from Baltimore, we can take that email and send it to Baltimore right away, and And they're able to see, hey, this person needs assistance. They've asked a question about why haven't they gotten their check, or they'd like to apply for widow's benefits or for retirement benefits. So that's the ease about email. So I've given you guys cards, told you given you 2 email addresses where you can reach us. Like Pauline, we are very excited to hear from you guys. We want to hear from you directly. So this is, it's already set up in a format where we get the essential information. And the essential information that we really need from you is your name, 2 telephone numbers where we can reach you, an email address, and then if you can give us the last 4 digits of your social security number. And that way we'll be able to find you in our system and look for you in our records. Sometimes we'll call you because we may not be able to identify you just on those last 4 digits, so we may need the entire number. So we'll call you to get the entire number. So if you sent one of those, be on the lookout for a phone call. Now, it could take anywhere from 2 to 5 business days for us to call you back. But we're going to call you back. And we're going to try, not once, but we'll try multiple times. And then if you give us an email address, we'll send you an email letting you know, hey, we've called you once, twice. We've been having some challenges trying to get a hold of you. Send us a time where we can call you. And we'll work to answer your question. So that is how to communicate with us, who we are, and how we support the ACS system here. So here are the federal benefit services that we provide. And one of them, so since I come from Social Security, I always start, I think the Social Security number is where everything starts. So all my presentations start from there, from how to get a Social Security number. Who can be assigned a Social Security number in a U.S. consulate? A U.S. citizen, a lawful alien authorized to work, someone with a non-valid reason for a Social Security number. And that's jargon, basically, for saying it's a person who's entitled to benefits. So if you're entitled to benefits, but you did not live or work in the United States, in order for us to pay you the benefits that you're entitled to, we need to issue you a Social Security number, and you can come to the consulate and apply for that. And like I like to say, it's one of those services that we provide for free. Yes. One of the few services that you can get for free. And what we use is the valid application form. And it's called the SS5, but we're working to make it available on the embassy webpage as well, so that you can download it at home, fill it out, and bring it in completed. Legibly would help. So if you can bring that in, if you're applying for a new Social Security card. And the evidence requirements. For new applicants, it's sort of simple. It's evidence of age, identity, and citizenship or lawful presence, or a lawful alien status. And 2 documents are required. And usually this is more geared, we see in the consulates a lot of individuals who become naturalized. We call it the CRIBA process, the consular birth report. Yep, thank you. And with that process, they become, you get naturalized, and you have your citizenship is given to you, but now you need a Social Security card. So you can provide the CRIBA and the passport, as well as the birth certificate. So if you were born in Jamaica, we'd also want to see your birth certificate. And the reason for that is because the birth certificate provides us your proof of age, and the other 2 documents provide us your proof of citizenship. So therefore you have the requirements met, the evidentiary requirements, and we can go ahead and process the Social Security card number application. Now, there is a mandatory in-person requirement if it's a person who is applying for a Social Security number who, for the first time, and is age 12 or older, and claims to have been born in the United States. So if you're over the age of 12, and you were born in the U.S. and you still don't have a social security number, we're going to have more questions to ask you, and we're also going to try to understand why you haven't received a social security number in that time span. And sometimes the answer is easy. I was born in Ohio, my parents moved to Jamaica when I was 3 or 4, and I haven't been back since. And we'll just ask you to provide proof of schooling, or work history. It all depends at what stage in life you're applying for the original social security card. And then proof of name change, because that's another one that happens a lot overseas. So I got married and I want to change my name. What do I need to do? You can apply for a replacement social security card with your new name at a U.S. consulate. And what you'll need to bring in is your marriage certificate, or if it's as a result of divorce, your divorce certificate, amended birth certificate, U.S. court order that allows you to change your name, or if you did it as part of your naturalization process, your U.S. certificate of naturalization with the name change. So before I pass it on to my colleague about the 2 topics we discussed before, do you guys have any questions?
There's one over here.
Oh, yes, sir.
I got my social security number decades ago.
Decades ago.
Yeah. And I noticed that mine has I think it was 9 digits. I think I see some change. Do I have to get a new number?
No. They're still 9 digits long. But one of the things we were discussing too today is, so when you got it, one of the things we really need to think about too is updating our records, because sometimes we naturalize. So we got it when we went to work in the U.S. and we were under our lawful admitted permanent residence, and we had the card with the little legend, allowed to work with proof of work authorization, or maybe it doesn't have the legend because you're a lawful admitted permanent resident, but we then became naturalized and we never told the Social Security Administration that that happened. And that usually happens like for people before they go about and retire. But it's really important that if your legal status has changed, that you also contact the Social Security Administration to let them know that that has occurred, because that way we can update our records and show you, instead of as a lawful alien permanent resident, we can update the record to show that you're now a U.S. citizen. Yes. All right, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Rebecca, and she'll have another couple of things to share with you guys.
Okay, good afternoon. I will give you a little overview about the benefits that Social Security has for you and your family members. And we have the benefit categories. So we have retirement benefits. Most of you are already collecting retirement benefits. We also have auxiliary benefits, survivor benefits, and disability benefits. But first thing first, if you're going to retire, how do you qualify for retirement benefits? So the first thing, of course, you have to work, and you have to pay what is called the FICA taxes. I guess most of you did already. You earn credits over the years to get an insured status, to get retirement benefits. You need at least 40 credits, which is about 10 years of work. Okay. And sometimes you have another question. How much will the retirement benefit be? Well, that depends on 2 factors. It depends on the earnings over your working career, and also on the age which you plan to retire. According to your circumstances, you can either choose for an early retirement. That means that you can choose to retire from age 62 before the month of FRA. FRA for us is the full retirement age, and we'll see a chart in just a minute. You can choose to retire at a full retirement age, which means that you have to be at least 66 for most of you. If you retire at a full retirement age, your benefit won't be reduced. However, if you choose an early retirement, it will be reduced for life. So that's something very important. Some other people might choose to retire or delay their retirement benefits, and that goes from full retirement age until the age of 70. And pretty much what happens is that the benefit will increase by some percentage. So you have three options pretty much. Next, please. Here you have a chart that shows the full retirement age. It depends on your date of birth. So, for example, from 1943, 1954, if you were born during those years, your full retirement age is 60. It increases, and for example, if you were born between 1960 or later, now your full retirement age is 67. Okay?
And this is 66.
60, 66, okay, sorry. And 67 for 1960 and or later. We moved into the, next please. Oh, yeah. I'm here. Retirement benefits. Okay, to qualify for retirement benefits, you must be full insured, which I just explained. You have to have at least 40 quarters of coverage and have at least attained 62, which is the minimum age. When you come into the U.S. Embassy to apply, you can, we need to, or most of you will have to provide a proof of age, your ID, which also will prove your citizenship. If you were on the military, you can also bring your DD-214. Or if you work in the year prior of filing, you could bring the W-2 form. However, let's say that you don't have any of these documents and you want to apply, you could also come in, you can fill out a form with your ID, we will give you a call, and then later on you can provide those documents that we need. Next, please. Some beneficiaries might be interested in receiving, might not be interested in receiving early retirement benefits, but if you're already 65, you can apply for what we call a Medicare only claim. So if you only want to have health service, you can apply at age 65, and you can wait until your full retirement age for the monthly payments. So that's what we call the Medicare only claim. In these cases, we will need proof of age. We want to make sure that you're 65, and also your ID. Next, please. Okay, so you're already collecting retirement benefits. We have some auxiliary benefits for some family members. One of the types that we have is the spouse's benefits. So what are the factors of entitlement? Be the spouse of the number holder entitled to retirement benefits. You have to be at least age 62 or have a child in care. And the child must be entitled on the record of the number holder and be under age 16. Another requirement is 5-year residency in the United States. If you're not a U.S. citizen, we will require that. And Vivian will talk about that a little bit later. What about the duration of marriage? If you have a spouse, in order to apply, you have to be married for at least 1 year. However, we can waive this requirement if the spouse is the natural mother or father of the number holder's biological child. That would be one of the waivers. Proofs that we might ask for, it's your age if you're applying for age spouse, your ID, and of course the marriage certificate, because we will have to prove relationship. So that's important when you're applying for spouse's benefits. Next, please. Great. We have a divorced spouse also. These are other benefits that we have. And what are the factors of entitlement? Finally divorced from the number holder. You have to be at least age 62. Must have been married for 10 years. Unmarried, and 5 years residency in the United States will be necessary as well. Another, our benefits are the child's benefits, and some factors of entitlement will be child of the number holder entitled to retirement benefits or disability benefits, unmarried, 5 years residency in the United States. Depending on the number holder, that means that you're providing economical support for that child, and the child must be under age 18 or over age 18 and a student until we pay students benefits until age 19, or have a disability which began prior age 22. So those are the child benefits. When a child is applying, we will ask for the birth certificate because it will have the number holder's name, of course the passport or the ID. And if the parents are married, sometimes we will ask for the marriage certificate as well. So those are the benefits, the auxiliary benefits that we provide. Now I'm going to move into the survivor benefits. And actually you had that question before. Well, one of the first benefits that we pay is what is called the lump sum death payment. This is a one-time payment of $255. It's just something we give. We actually don't have anything for the funeral expenses because this is not that much. It's just some help that we would like to provide the family. The number holder must be insured, and you can file within 2 years from date of death. Who can apply for this benefit? The spouse, if the spouse is living in the same household, that's very important, of a child under 18 years old as well. Okay, this is one of the first benefits we pay for survivor benefits. We also have our widow's benefits. To apply for widow's benefits, you have to be at least 60 or 50 if you are disabled. Okay, you have to be unmarried. However, marriage can be disregarded if the marriage occurred after age 60 or prior of age 60, but the marriage has terminated. And you also have to prove 5 years of residency in the United States. You have to be married at least 9 months or 3 months if it's an accidental death. So that's very important. Proofs that we will require: birth certificate, marriage certificate, and death certificate. And also proof of 5 years residency proof as well. We also have surviving divorce widow's benefits. What are the factors of entitlement? Well, you have to be finally divorced from the number holder, and you have to be married for at least 10 years. You also have to be at least 60 or 50 if you are disabled. The duration of marriage is the most important thing in divorced spouses benefit. It has to be at least 10 years. Okay? The proofs are the same. It's just we will also require a divorce decree or a divorce certificate. Next, please. We also have mother's or father's benefits and factors of entitlement. We have a marriage to the worker for at least 9 months prior to death, and a child in care. This is the most important thing. A child in care under age 16, unmarried, and 5 years residency in the U.S. The proofs we ask will be the same: marriage certificate, death certificate, and the child's birth certificate to prove relationship. Next, please. Another survivor benefit that we have, it's parents' benefit. What happens if you are supporting a parent and you die? The parent must be age 62, has not married after the number holder's death, and had been receiving at least 50% support from the number holder. This is very important, and the person that is applying has to prove that. And of course, well, you have 2 years to apply for that type of benefit. We will ask for your birth certificate, the number holder's birth certificate, and of course, proof of support. So that's the survivor benefits that Social Security have. The last one, we just want to give you a little bit of an overview. It's regarding the disability benefit. Either the disabled worker, the disabled widow, or the disabled child can apply for benefits. You do have to keep in mind that Social Security, what it takes into consideration is work your inability to work, to perform a work, and you of course must be physically or mentally impaired. We will ask for medical evidence. So each case is different, and if you ever come up with a problem like that, you just have to contact us. We will look at your case and we'll see what we need to do, what steps need to be taken, okay? There are two factors that I also wanted to mention to you that can affect benefit payments. One of them is work, if you work under your full retirement age. So let's say that you're working here and you are not 66 yet. If you're working here, you cannot work more than 45 hours per month. Otherwise, your benefits can be suspended. If you're working outside the United States, but for a U.S. company, or you're paying what we call Social Security taxes, then we don't look into the amount of hours that you work. We look more into the earnings. How much do you earn? And you have a maximum. If you earn over that maximum, then your benefit will be a little bit lower. Another factor that can affect your benefit payment is a pension. A pension based on earnings. So if you, for example, work for federal, state, local government and you receive a pension, you have to notify Social Security because that pension will lower or can affect your Social Security benefits. We do have exceptions, so we have to look in every case by case basis. Okay, I will move then into the Medicare. I guess most of you already know, but Medicare, you can enroll. You're more than welcome to enroll, but Medicare services are not covered outside the United States. So you cannot get any Medicare here. You can be enrolled in it, but only in the United States, okay? So what is Medicare? Medicare is the U.S. health insurance program for age 65 and older. Certain people younger than 65 might also be enrolled in Medicare. For example, people receiving disability benefits. And the program helps with the cost of health care, but it does not cover all medical expenses. Okay? Next one, please. Medical eligibility. If you're already receiving retirement benefits, it will be automatically when you turn 65. That will be, and I will mention the parts in just a minute. If you are receiving disability benefits, Medicare covers after the 24th month of your entitlement. Medicare parts and coverages. We have 4 parts. Part A is what we call hospital insurance, and this is for free. Pretty much it covers inpatient care in a hospital, skilled nursing facilities, and some home care services. Part B, which has a premium, it's what we call the supplemental medical insurance. This one covers doctor services and other medical services and supplies not covered by Part A. Part C is the medical advantage, and it's a medical plan through a healthcare provider in the United States. And Part D is the drug coverage. So it pays for medication prescribed for treatment. Something important, here at the embassy, we can only handle Part A and B. If you want to enroll in, or if you want to cancel, you can do it right here for Part A and Part B. Next, please. Medicare enrollment. As I mentioned, Part A starts automatically for certain individuals, the ones that are already collecting Social Security. However, who is eligible for Medicare Part A can also enroll in Medicare Part B by paying a premium. Part B has certain enrollment periods. The first one is the initial enrollment period, and it's a 7-month period. It starts 3 months before you turn 65, the month of 65, and 3 months after. If that period has passed, then you can enroll in what we call the general enrollment period. And it's every year from January the 1st until March 31st. And the coverage will start July the same year. Next, please. Once you enroll in Part B, you'll receive a card just like this one, and if you see it, it has the hospital Part B in it and medical Part B as well. So it tells you which programs are you enrolled in. Here at the embassy, you can also ask for a replacement card. If you have lost it, you can also request a replacement card. And as you mentioned, if you're not using Medicare and you like to cancel Medicare because you're not going back to the United States, you can also cancel Medicare here. Next one, please. Part B premiums. Well, right now, the standard monthly premium is $104.90. Something that you do have to keep in mind for those who want to cancel Medicare is like that the monthly premium will be higher by 10% for each year that you're not enrolling Medicare. That's if you want to go back on the Medicare. So you have to keep that in mind because it won't be the standard monthly premium, it will be higher. It will for 10% per each year. For those beneficiaries that have higher income, it will be higher as well, but the standard monthly premium will be 104.9. And then I leave you with Ms. Adebayo.
Thank you.
So in the descriptions that Rebecca was giving, one of the statements she kept saying in terms of proofs that you're going to need for some of the benefit categories was 5-year residency. You're going to have to prove to us that you were residing in the U.S. 5 years or longer. But what happens if you are entitled, but you don't fall into that category of 5-year residency? There's something called the alien non-payment provision. And that's where those individuals who may be entitled to a benefit but can't meet the 5-year residency requirement fall under. And what that means is that folks who cannot prove that they resided in the United States for 5 years or longer are going to have to reside or visit the U.S. for 1 month in order to get 6 months of payment. So I'm married to a Jamaican national, and my spouse never lived in the United States, and now I pass away, and he is eligible for widower's benefits. In that case, in order for him to receive 6 months worth of payment, he will have to do a 1-month trip to the United States, a 1-month legal trip to the United States. So he will have to go and apply for a visa. And what happens is, since he's entitled, he'll get a letter letting him know that he's entitled to benefits, the benefit amount, and that's one of the things that he will probably present to the immigration officer for his visitor's visa to complete his 1-month visit to the U.S.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Is this a one only 1 month?
They have to visit the United States for 1 full calendar month, and it's tricky because you have to leave the country, so you'll have to leave, and actually I have two slides over. So this is I think the easiest example, and if we can you make it a little bit bigger? Sorry. No. Okay. So basically, what it's saying is that, let's say, for example, you're going to do your full calendar month in October. So you have to touch the United States on September 30th. Yes. And spend all of October in the United States.
In November.
And come back home November 1st. After November 1st. And at least. Exactly. After November 1st. And what will happen with that is that you will get 6 months worth of benefits. And so you have to go back and do another 1-month visit to get another set of 6 months. So it's twice a year. Twice a year. Because 1 month, 6 months of benefits, and another month, 6 more months of benefits. So now what happens, let's say you can't complete that visit, because I get this question a lot. So I can't go because I'm really sick today, just can't make it back to the United States. you don't get paid until you can make that one full calendar month visit and prove to us that you have made that visit.
So what if the person cannot travel?
Then they will not receive the benefit, yeah. Yeah, the law is very strict on that. It basically says we'll pay you for for a 6-month period, as long as you can prove to us that you were there one full month. And how do you, yes, sir?
Consecutive
What do you mean?
terms of 2 months.
No. No. You can spend 2 months and still get 6 months. But yes, and it'll qualify for one month. So, you have to do this twice in the year to get them. Yeah, yeah. So let's, if you don't mind getting, I think I put this slide in twice, so pick one more time. There you go. So how do you report to us and how do you prove to us that you were in the U.S.? Your plane ticket. We want to see your boarding pass, so don't throw that out. Keep that if you fall into this alien non-payment provision. The passport with the stamp in it. We want to see the U.S. immigration stamp in your passport. Hotel bills if you stayed in a hotel. A statement from a relative. It doesn't have to be notarized. It could be a post-it on a piece of paper. It's just telling us, hey, today Rebecca Soto stayed with me from September 30th through November 1st to fulfill her full calendar month. And then this is the address you stayed at, and this is my name, and this is my contact information. Very simple.
Notarization.
No, it does not have to be notarized.
Okay.
And any other document issued in the U.S. to prove that you stayed there. So if you paid for your hotel bill, if you paid for rent while you were there, if you had to pay for lighting, those things you would provide to us as evidence that you were there. Because again, we want to make sure that you were there and didn't go to Mexico for for 3 weeks when you were supposed to be staying in the U.S. for a full calendar month. So now so now that we have the full calendar month down, so now we know what to do when we don't meet that 5-year residency requirement. One of the important things that I wanted to talk to you about was the foreign enforcement questionnaire. So we have an integrity program that we do every year. We send out a questionnaire. It comes in the mail. And we want to know if you're still living where you told us you were living at last year. We also want to know if anything's changed, if you're getting a pension, if there is a change in your marital status. We want to know that information because it could affect your benefit. So we send the questionnaire out. In Jamaica, if you have an address, a residence address in Jamaica, you'll receive the questionnaire every year. It comes in July. We send it again in September when you don't answer us in July. When you don't answer us in September, we stop your check in February. So you don't get that March 3rd payment. And hence, you realize something happened. Exactly. Something is wrong. And it's usually because we have sent out the questionnaire. We sent it twice, and we haven't received a response. So usually we get a lot of traffic in the month of March because the folks who were expecting their March 3rd check didn't receive it. And it's something simple as just keeping your eye out between July and September for that questionnaire. Oops, next slide. And so these are the forms, and we have them up online on our website in San Jose. It's the form 7162. If you don't mind clicking on that one, please. And that is the one that we use for folks who are getting their own benefits. So you're fine and well, you receive your own benefit. Every year you're going to get a form 7162. It's going to come pre-populated. It's going to have your name, your address, your social security number, your telephone number that we have on the record for you. Look those things over, because if something's changed, you want to let us know. It's also going to have questions that you need to answer. It's coming. There it is. So if you don't mind opening that up. It's going to have on the front page some questions that you need to answer, and if you answer no yes to any of those questions, you have to go to the backside and explain to us what changed. Okay? And sometimes we'll have to follow up with you because you tell us you got divorced. So now we may need to figure out if there's a wife, a spouse, or you got married. You may have got divorced, you may have got married. And if you got married, we need to figure out, well, is that spouse entitled to benefits? So we'll reach back out to you guys. But it comes every year if you have a address here in Jamaica. We don't get it, check stop. Until you come back and let us know that the check stop, and then we'll start and help reinstate it. But to reinstate, it could take anywhere from 15 business days if you get direct deposit to 6 weeks or longer if we have trouble doing the action in our office in the federal benefit unit.
I want to talk about the change of address and why it's so important for this specific.
So I was mentioning before to Pauline about the importance of changing your address. If you move from the United States to Jamaica, you need to let us know that your address has changed. Yeah, you have you may choose to keep your direct deposit in the United States, but if we send you mail, because we are heavily mail dependent, and you don't respond to the mail, we will suspend your checks because we don't know where you're at. We've sent you a letter, we're unable to communicate with you, so now we need to figure out, so where is this person? And you may be just here in Jamaica, and we have a U.S. consulate where you can go and report your address and let us know that you're here. I'm sorry? And we understand that there are some challenges there.
Post office said, I know I'm supposed to get something.
Yeah.
That happened to us, and that's why I had to call. But if it could come another type of way, besides maybe.
Email, and you're right, for us, the challenge is that the agency still uses mail to communicate with customers. But you have a way to communicate with us now. Send us an email if you think that something should be coming in the mail, and we'll gladly look at our records, see what we need to get to you, or provide you any information that you need. Okay. So the other thing too is we have several integrity programs that we run. We also do an exercise of figuring out where people are when they turn 90, particularly if they're not using their Medicare and they have a U.S. address. We'll start then figuring out, okay, so you're in 90 and you haven't been to the hospital in about 10 years. Where are you? And exactly, that's exactly what they're thinking. That person's dead. Not true. That person is just moved and did not tell us that they changed their address. And why should they may feel, because I'm getting my check anyway, it's going into my direct deposit. But like I said, when we send you that piece of mail and we can't find you, that's when we stop the benefits, and that's where you come and say, hey, I'm doing well, I'm here. And sometimes that I'm here, and responding to that I'm here, can take some time. Because that check, we're not going to be able to pull it out and give it to you right away. We're going to have to work with Baltimore or whatever counterpart to make sure that we can reinstate your benefit. Not only that, but we're also going to ask you for information about your identity. So we're going to ask you lots to submit proofs of your identity, and sometimes that could be challenging if you haven't kept your information up to date. So just keep those things in mind. And please, the information that we're sharing with you guys here today, share it with your neighbors. Share it with other folks. You have, like I said, we have enough cards for you to take one and one for a buddy. Let them know how to communicate with us. Let them know that if they're moving into Jamaica, that we have services here available to them through the U.S. consulate, as well as contacting the regional office for any assistance that they may need regarding Social Security, Veterans Affairs, Office of Personnel Management, Department of Labor, Railroad Board. We're here to serve you guys and provide any assistance that we can, because we know that you heavily depend upon those benefits that some of us have worked very hard to receive. So, like I said, The easiest way to reach us, we have 2 email addresses, we have a web form. It's efficient, it's cost effective, good mechanism to reach us and ask us whatever questions you have. However, if you have documents that you need to submit and get certified, the best way to do it is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 11 a.m. in your U.S. consulate here in Kingston. We look forward to answering any individual questions that you have, and I don't know if you have a structure or setup how we should.
Yeah, I just want to make one final comment, which is that one of the complaints that we get a lot from our Social Security beneficiaries is, you know, I came in a week ago and I told you that I had this problem and Social Security never contacted me. We found out from Social Security that they've been trying to call you for the last week. So those phone numbers are really important. That, you know, that can't be your neighbor's phone or, you know, your grandchild's phone or whoever. That needs to be a phone that you actually do have access to. So it's really important that you put in a phone and that you have somebody that can answer it and can pass the message along or figure out a time when you guys can talk with you. So I just want to make sure that you understand the vital importance of that, because it's not coming back through us. They're going to contact you.
Yep, we're going to contact, because again, we're the ones connected to the system. So we're the ones who can provide you the answer. So that's why we who are connected to the system will call you back, provide you the information that you need. We'll also ID you, make sure that we're talking to the right person, because again, it's your Social Security information and we want to make sure that we're talking to the correct individual. Okay.